जी, मुख्तसरन मैं ये आपको सिर्फ ये अर्ज करना चाह रहा हूँ कि एक एहतशाम साहब ने अपनी उसमें कमेंट ये किया, एक मैं ये क्लियर कर दूं कि हमारे इस एसबीए जो हमने अक्टूबर 2008 में इनिशिएट किया था गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान ने विद IMF, एहतशाम साहब भी हमारे साथ मौजूद थे और इन्होंने कंटिन्यू किया हमारे साथ इस सारे एसबीए की नेगोशिएशंस में और वैट की नेगोशिएशंस में टिल दिसंबर 2009। दूसरी बात मैं आपको ये क्लैरिफाई कर दूं कि ये जो हमने टास्क अपना शुरू किया था, तो मेरे पास परसेंटेजेस हैं कि हमने 2005-6 से हमारे पास उस वक्त इनकम टैक्स के फाइलर्स थे 11,02,151 और हमने उस साल रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट की थी 713 बिलियन की। अब पिछले साल 2009-10 में हमारी जो इनकम टैक्स फाइलर की तादाद है वो 11 लाख से बढ़कर 23,13,000 हो चुकी है, जो कि 210% ज्यादा है जब हम टार्क में गए थे। इसी तरह रेवेन्यूज हमारी 713 बिलियन से बढ़ के पिछले साल 1327 बिलियन थी, जिसमें के 186% का इजाफा है। और अगर इसकी ब्रेकअप में आपको दे दूं तो हमने डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस में 224 बिलियन जो हमने डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस में कलेक्ट किया था जब हमारी टोटल रेवेन्यू थी 713 बिलियन, तो पिछले साल हमने इसमें 525 बिलियन रेवेन्यू जनरेट किया, तो डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस में इजाफा है 234% का। सिमिलरली सेल्स टैक्स की कलेक्शन उस वक्त जब हम टार्क में गए तो 294 बिलियन थी, जो कि पिछले साल 516 बिलियन हुई, तो इजाफा है 175% का। फेडरल एक्साइज 55 बिलियन पे थी लास्ट ईयर, 124 बिलियन, इंक्रीज इज 225%। सर मैं ब्रीफ ये आपको ये सिर्फ ब्रेकअप मैंने दिया जी। दूसरा मैं सिर्फ आपको ये जो हमने इत्शाम साहब ने एक और बात की, ये जो हमने SRO 283 दिया है, ये मैं थोड़ा सा इसको एक्सप्लेन कर दूं। अप्रैल फूल आप उसको ना कहिए, 1 अप्रैल को गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस सारे खुले हुए थे जी, और उसमें ये है कि ये सारी हमारे जो चेंबर्स, हमारी फेडरेशंस, आपको याद होगा कि ये ऑर्डिनेंसेस 15 मार्च को आए थे और उसके बाद से आपके मुल्क में सब जगह स्ट्राइक्स हो गई थी। उसके बाद वी स्टार्टेड नेगोशिएशंस विद द चेंबर्स। कोई टैक्स रिफॉर्म करने का मकसद ये नहीं होता है कि मुल्क में इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी को बंद कर दिया जाए। अगर आपके मुल्क में इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी बंद हो जाएगी तो ऐसी रिफॉर्म करने का आपको कोई फायदा हासिल नहीं हो सकता। सो उन फॉर्म्स के साथ, उन सब फेडरेशन के साथ, चेंबर्स के साथ मिलकर हमने एक ब्रेक थ्रू किया है। जो वैट पे सिचुएशन चल रही थी जीरो रेटेड की, सिर्फ मसला यह था कि हमने एक्सपोर्ट को अभी भी जीरो रेट नहीं किया। लोकल जो हमारी सेल्स होती थी पहले जब हमने इसको जीरो रेट किया था, तो उसको हमने टैक्स किया है। एप्टमा और उनकी बात से हमें यह पता चला था कि 550 बिलियन का हम 15% के हिसाब से टैक्स को विथहोल्ड करेंगे और फिर रिफंड करेंगे। अब जो हमने उनके साथ समझौता किया है उसमें हम 6% और 4% के हिसाब से 10% लोकल सेल्स के ऊपर टैक्स हासिल करेंगे विदाउट एनी एडजस्टमेंट एंड विदाउट एनी रिफंड। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
I need to come back to Mr. Israr Rauf. Yes, you were talking about the nominal increases, and that had been the problem during the Musharraf years. You focused on the nominal increases. Tax GDP ratio has not budged, and we have consistently missed the IMF targets. The SRO 283 makes a nonsense of the value-added tax. It removes the basic feature that you were trying to do and recreates a lot of distortions and options for the FBR to play games with the various taxpayers. I am now of the opinion, initially, and this is linked to the first question from Anjum Basing, why did we agree this with the IMF? The logic was that you can do a new tax administration in 3 years. We have spent 20 years, of which the last 10 years, with $150 million from the World Bank, fixing the broken tax administration. Can we do it? On balance, we thought it could have been done, and we came pretty close, but we couldn't do it. My feeling now is that the solution is you give up on the FBR, the existing FBR. You have either a Peru solution or an Iranian solution. The Peru solution is very radical. They fired the lot and started again with a few people from the central bank to run an honest and arm's length administration. The Iran solution is less radical. They said, and this is also quite often done, is we'll leave the legacy administration to do the small taxes. उनको पाटा में भेज देंगे, wealth tax करें, क्या करके पाटा. And for the value-added tax, we will create a new administration on an arm's length functional basis. And that can be done. And that can then be done within a very short period of time. It's not rocket science. And enough to satisfy our detractors.
My name is Sohail Sarfraz and I work in Business Recorder. I have 2 questions for Dr. Ihtisham. Sir, kindly can you guide us that you have given us a lot of examples of best tax administrations and regional countries. But we have not heard any analysis about the actual practical difficulties in our local level, provincial level, at grassroots level. You have not talked about the specifications of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, what practically happening there, how traders are reacting to that SRO, how FBR face difficulties when they actually withdraw all the exemptions on the local sale of zero-rated sectors, and how they face the problem and how they resolve them. So can you give us a little view about what's happening at practical level in Punjab, in other provinces, when they try to do something, there is a strong reaction. And we have not talking about the local environment, our tax culture, and the practical ways and means to do it.
My name is Shehbaz and I work for the Express Tribune newspaper. My question is to Mr. Starno. So you are talking about certain ratios. My question is, what is the nominal GDP ratio and what is the revenue growth rate at this point in time? And on another point to Mr. Ihtisham, sir, you said that at one point in time IMF was great, to great extent it was friendly towards Pakistan. But at the same time, the White House intervened for winning a program for Pakistan. Can you elaborate on this point?
मेरा नाम कुर्बान बलोच है, डेली कावज से मेरा ताल्लुक है. एफबीआर के दोस्त ने रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन बढ़ाने की बात की है, तो मैं सर आपसे सवाल ये करूंगा कि एग्री ये रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन बढ़ी है, क्या जो गवर्नमेंट की सर्विस डिलीवरी है क्या उसमें बेहतरी आई है? अगर नहीं है, वो बेट वर्ष हुआ है, तो वो लोग जो देहात में रहते हैं जिसके पास हेल्थ फैसिलिटी नहीं है, एजुकेशन नहीं है, क्लिमाटी नहीं है, वो आपको मजीद टैक्स लगाने क्यों थे? उसके पास आपके पास रैशनल है?
My name is Dr. Chris Kasmi. I had the privilege of meeting at IMF in Washington to get some of my PhD thesis at Boston University in 1991. Now, at your discussion at the present forum, I think you have taken 4 issues together with the result that they have been fairly entangled. And I don't find much of solution in that entanglement. First is the low tax GDP ratio. Second is the macroeconomic problems of the country. Third is the International Monetary Fund Stabilization Program, and within that the GST. Now the problems are so much mixed and so much complex that your final solution that the solution comes to the GST, reform GST only, doesn't click for the following reason. Firstly, that the IMF stabilization program actually has been continuing since mid-80s, when the focus was on reducing the tariff rates. And the IMF has been, along with the WTO, been quite successful reducing the tariff rates. Now the norm is 25 and the slabs have been reduced. And now the tariff system, the custom duty, which used to be the top source of revenue for the FBR, they are now at the third stage. This is a very important development for the economic challenges and for resource generation and what you call the efficiency of resource generation. This has been a major change. Now, the Pakistan economy and especially the FBR, when it looks at the charter of demands, Pakistan economy looks to be a matrix economy because IMF determines the scope, the timing, the rates at the micro level. And from that point of view, do you think that the IMF is a benign institution? It is having a benign policies for the betterment of the economy. And lastly, Mr. Shams, you have worked so greatly and so intensively on the tax reform to the world. When the inflation rate in the country is 16%, and that is the official rate, unofficially it may be slightly higher. And the poverty level is increasing partly because of the high inflation. How do you look the effect of GST on the four major components of the economy: poverty level, inflation, and productivity? When you impose when you impose the taxes on the inputs as well as the outputs. So look at the incidence in its proper perspective in a specialized way, and that will be your contribution and value addition today. Thank you.
My name is Ghulam Aman. I'm working in a college. My question is that especially all our economic experts or other people who are who has much knowledge regarding economies, why we all impose our force on especially privatization? Why not we are talking about socialism or something like compound economy? Why? Because as we've seen the experience of Pakistan and India, the gap between rich and poor is increasing due to the privatization. And see the example of the UBC education system where the privatization is prevailing. The rich class is only eligible to are able to send their children to the private schools, but the poor class is remaining, you may say, away from the education. So why we do not talk about this one thing? One another thing that when we say suppose we increase the government increase its revenue by imposing extra taxes, but until and unless we do not have the accountability regarding budget and other things.
Dr. Saab, you have presented a very horrifying picture. Sir, what is your opinion? What will happen if IMF will refuse the second program for Pakistan? And my second question is, you know, there is a very strong perception in Pakistan that if we will launch a new operation in Waziristan, IMF will come and rescue us because of Washington's